Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. Now, I know I've been promising for a couple of weeks to do a dedicated video on total carbs versus net carbs, but I'm not going to do that today, and I'm going to tell you why. I don't know if you can already hear, but my voice is a little bit rough. Last night, I went with Terry, my wife, to this VFW fundraiser slash party thing. I don't know what you'd call it. And normally I don't go to these things because I am, first and foremost, an introvert, and being around crowds in tight proximity with a lot of noise, and there was a band, it's not my thing. I get very rapidly fatigued and borderline freaked out. So I tend not to go to these, but one of Terry's friends was going, and her husband was going, and her husband wasn't going to have anybody to talk to or hang out with. So I decided, be a good husband, go to this thing and hang out and keep David company. But because of the sound, all the noise, all the people talking, the music and all that, I really had to raise my voice quite a bit for our 3-hour conversation. And as a result, it's a little bit rough today. And I want to make sure that when I do this total carbs versus net carbs video, I really do it justice, and that includes having my voice sound right. So the plan is, barring any sort of major catastrophe, that will be next Monday. The next thing I want to do is give all of you a big, big thank you. Last week I had talked about how Serious Keto was not doing all that well in terms of views and thus revenue, which is kind of an important thing when you have a job that you're making money at it. So last week I had asked you to do a few things that I felt would help out the engagement metric of this channel. And whether you're doing it for my channel or anybody's channel that you like and want to support, the majority of these things cost you no money and very little time. Things like clicking the like button, leaving a comment, hitting the share button, sharing the video with people or on other social media. What was the other one? There was like binge watching. Just get out. I mean, I've got 900 videos, I think, or pretty close, to go back, look through some of the back catalog and watch some things. Or if you enjoy the podcast, have you gone through all 177, I think, of them? There's a playlist. Put it on while you're doing chores or whatever, going for a walk or in your car. So these are all things that you can do to help out, and you did. And there's been an uptick. It hasn't been huge, but it's been noticeable. And in fact, sometimes YouTube, they will highlight a video. They'll say like how your channel is doing. They may highlight a certain video and say more people than usual are watching this. Or there may be a more of a generalized statement. And I got one of these that showed up in my, what do they call it? Creator content, something. I don't know. There's a portal that we go through as content creators. YouTube Studio, that's what it's called. And you can get feedback on some of the analytics. And it said your views are up because, and I don't know that I'm going to get this exactly correct, because more regular viewers are watching your videos, more non-subscribers are seeing your video. It was something to that effect. So yes, you helped, and I ask that you keep doing it. It's awesome. I thank you. And not just my channel. Of course, I'm going to want you to help my channel, but any channel that you enjoy, this is how you help support them. Another way that you can support the channel, and I got this question, or it popped into my brain because I got this question. I had one of my viewers, she was looking for a particular product on my Amazon storefront. So down in the description below, there's a link for my Amazon storefront. It's not a store of Serious Keto products, but rather some curated lists of different ingredients and products and cookbooks that I own and use. And they're out on Amazon. But she had gone there and she didn't see whatever she was looking for. Maybe it was bamboo fiber. And she asked if I could create a custom link that then she could use so she could make sure that I got my little 2% commission. So anytime you use any sort of a link, we as content creators get a small commission, but it's at no cost to you. It doesn't increase your cost at all. But here's the cool thing. If you use any of my links, whether it's the storefront link or a product-specific link, you don't need to buy anything from the store or that specific product. What happens is YouTube creates a cookie that lasts 24 hours on your account, and then anything you purchase on Amazon, I get that little sliver of commission. again, at no cost to you. So I've seen some interesting things that people have purchased, and clearly they had to have gone through one of my links, so maybe they saw the Dash Mini Waffle Maker, and they went and they're like, nah, I don't want that, but I'm going to buy a copy of Catcher in the Rye. True story. That's one of the things that showed up recently. Someone bought Catcher in the Rye. I got a couple pennies off of that. But hey, better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. So that is another way you can support channels that you enjoy, is using their Amazon links. But that's it on that, aside from one more time saying thank you so much to all of you. And I also want to throw out a specific thank you to Heather Duncan. She had emailed me and said, I would like to send you some fan art. And I'm probably already starting to blush because it just, to me, that's, to think that I have people that consider themselves fans. I just think of you as like friends and subscribers and people that, give me a little bit of your time. So I'm so grateful for all of that. To categorize it as a fan thing, like I said, I'm probably blushing. But she asked if she could send me some fan art. And I said, somewhat reluctantly, because you never know what you're going to get, I said, okay. And this is what she did. So she took this book right here, and then here's what it looks like. She got the pages to spread out, and then I don't know if she used some sort of a laser cutter or what she did, but created the Serious Keto avatar, and then, the little logo down there at the bottom of the ribbon. I was just beside myself at how incredibly cool that was. So thank you, Heather. And then as sort of my gift back to Heather, she did not ask me to do this, but if you get out on Facebook or Instagram and you look up Rings and Things, RINGZ, or the ampersand or and sign, whatever you want to call it, Things, THINGZ, you can find her and the business that she does, the craft business, making custom stuff like this. So there you go. Thanks again, Heather. That's all I have to say about that. So it kind of felt like the first half of that podcast was kind of housekeeping, random stuff. We're going to get into some more keto specific stuff right now. And I've mentioned before, what I will do periodically is I will ask my paid channel members, do you have any ideas for topics for the podcast? I don't generally ask everybody because then I'd get way too many responses. So that's why I go specifically to the paid channel members, because I know I'll get 15, 20 responses, and that's a lot easier to pick from. And a recent one that I got was, how do you deal with cravings when you are on keto? And I think that's a great question. Now, I've been keto for over 5 years. I do not get cravings very often. Early on, I did, which is why, and you can kind of see this reflected in my recipes. The recipes tended to be more for things that I would crave. So, sweets and bread type products. There's a lot less of that now. And so many of my recipes are really more meat based. They're more like main course sort of meals. But that doesn't mean I don't still periodically get temptations. And I'm going to talk about the specific instance where I do get temptations predictably in a moment. But first I want to talk about some strategies to deal with temptations. Temptations and cravings are, I think, they look for a window of opportunity. They are a short-term thing. They're not like all day long. You don't just crave something all day long. At least I don't. Usually it's a brief and momentary thing. Now, my situation in that I'm the solo keto person in a non-keto household, there are always plenty of temptations there. I mean, there is a cookie jar upstairs full of Oreos, and I like Oreos a lot. So how do I avoid the temptation when Terry decides she's going to have a few Oreos, that I don't say, what the heck, it's just a couple of Oreos? Here are my two big strategies. One, recognize that it is a window of opportunity that the craving is looking for, and deny it that window. So rather than say, I'm not going to have an Oreo, I say, I am going to have an Oreo, but not until I go out for a 20-minute walk, or before I do some air squats, or I clean the bathroom, or something like that. I put some sort of time, distance, and productivity. That's the important part to me. The productivity between me and the craving. And what generally happens, in fact, I would say 95% of the time, if not more, is I get done with that activity. I go for the walk and I come back and I say, you know what, I'm feeling pretty good now. I don't want to waste that walk by screwing it up with an Oreo or whatever your temptation is. So that's number one. Number two is have a safety net. So what is it that you tend to crave? What's your kryptonite? Is it sweets? Is it savory stuff? It's like chips and crackers. What is it? Identify that and make sure that you have a keto alternative to it. So if it's crackers, make some keto crackers. I've got, I don't know how many, probably close to half a dozen, if not more, keto cracker recipes on this site. Look them up, make some, have them as your safety net. I also try and make sure that any of my legitimately keto alternative snacks are easily accessible. So I can't, if the choice is between something that is not keto and really easy and something that's keto and really hard, well, that gives the temptation or craving a better opportunity. So I want to make sure that it's things that are easy. So having pre-sliced pieces of cheese or pepperoni or beef sticks or the Wisp crackers, the dried Parmesan things, olives, whatever it is that you can quickly eat, throw a few of them in your mouth and you're satisfied. Make sure that you've got some of those convenient keto foods. Additionally, if it's sweets, I have a couple strategies, and I want you to know I'm not pimping for any particular product line here, but for me, if I have a sweet craving, one of the easiest ways that I satisfy it, I always make sure that I've got one shaker bottle of keto chow in the fridge. So if I get a craving, I can go and have some chocolate peanut butter keto chow. I drink half a shaker cup, I'm good. Some of the perfect keto products, some of the bars are really good and satisfying. Chalk Zero, that's a little bit of a slippery slope for me because some of their stuff is so good, like the peanut butter cups. Oh, I can tear through a whole package of that. If I left them upstairs next to the cookie jar, dangerous. So instead, I got them down here in the man cave, back room, storage area, in my keto pantry. By making it a little less convenient, I'm less likely to just plow through a whole bunch of them. I'll come down and say, all right, I will grab one peanut butter cup, I'll take it back upstairs and sit on the couch and eat it. And then if I still have the ambition, I will come back and get more. But generally, I'm just lazy enough that once I've satisfied that craving, I'm not gonna go back downstairs and get some more. Now I said before that I would talk about the one predictable instance where I'm guaranteed to have a craving, and that is after any sort of a cheat meal or cheat snack. All of a sudden, you get that sugar in your system, you get those simple carbs in your system, and it is like a drug. You want more. So back a week or two ago, while Terry and I were working on Courtney's house, I was getting pretty hungry. It was getting on towards that time of the day where it's usually time for me to have something to eat. And we went to the Quick Trip that's fairly near her house, and I saw this breakfast sandwich. It was a sausage, egg, and cheese croissant. Haven't had one of those in years. Had one. It was okay. But probably an hour, 2 hours later, the cravings started to kick in. All I could think about was pizza. I wanted pizza, and not keto pizza. I wanted real pizza with a flour crust. I wanted pizza bad. And that's the thing about these simple carbs is they are like a drug. I mean, if I'm eating steak, I eat until I'm satisfied and then I stop and I feel good. You put a basket of bread or tortilla chips in front of me in a restaurant, I know that if I have one piece of bread, if I have one chip, if I allow myself that, there's no stopping me. You just keep going. You go and you go and you go until the basket's gone and you're like, waiter, more bread here, please. And we don't get satisfied, or I don't get satisfied. I can just keep eating that stuff and eating it and not stop. So I know I can't do that. So that is sort of my overarching strategy on cravings. I hope it helped. If you have found that you've got a special strategy that works consistently that you'd like to share with the rest of us, please let me know down in the comments below. One last thing before we close out this podcast. We are getting really close to 300,000 subscribers. That's pretty awesome. I can say with a good deal of confidence we're going to hit it before the weekend. So likely what you'll see is a handful of giveaways from me next week. I'm thinking at least three. 300,000 subscribers, three big giveaways. At first I thought about just doing this massive single giveaway, like this just ginormous gift basket of keto stuff. But I would rather sort of spread the love and do a little bit more, give everybody a better chance to win. So be looking for that next week. The good thing about that is those videos, giveaway videos for me, are the absolute easiest to record and edit and release, which is going to free up some additional time for me to do two things. One is start creating a little bit of a buffer of videos, so having some videos done and in the can, as they say, so that I can release them if something else comes along, I get busy and can't film a video. I've always got this buffer. The other thing I'm going to experiment with, probably, is taking some of my older videos and seeing if I can make a little short form content. I want to dabble my toe in it. As much as I dislike the idea of short form videos, YouTube wants to see them. And I think it may come down to the survival of this channel. I will not do short form videos just for the sake of short form videos. I will be doing them as sort of previews or teasers of longer form videos, and hopefully older videos, so that some of my newer viewers can be attracted to some of those older videos that they may have missed. So I'm going to give it a try. We'll see how that goes. But that is going to be it for this podcast. As always, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me today. It means the world to me. It truly does. So thanks for listening, and thanks for watching.